Okay, hi everyone. Welcome to another episode of Time Sports on the Beat. I'm your host, Faizal Salim. Today is a sad day for Manchester United fans as it is just hours after the Europa League final where United lost 1-0 to Tottenham. And who better to discuss the final with other than two Manchester United fans as Jeevanesan and T Yogaraj, who are members of the Kuala Lumpur Mancunian Red Devils Supporters Club. Welcome, gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Thanks, Faizal. I was having second thoughts about coming after the game, but here we are.
It must be, I imagine it must be very difficult as well.
Yeah, I text you in the morning to ask you whether it's still on.
Unfortunately, yes, it's still on.
Yes.
But let's just rip the band-aid off lah. What was your immediate reaction after the final whistle blew? Because I'll tell you my reaction first because I'm also a Manchester United fan. So I had a long day of work yesterday, so I tried to stay up for the final. Unfortunately, I couldn't. My alarm went off at 3 a.m. but I ended up going back to sleep anyways. So as soon as I think I woke up around 7 a.m. And then I immediately grabbed for my phone to check the score. And when I saw it was 1-0 to Tottenham, I tossed my phone back onto the nightstand and then went back to bed. So what about you guys?
Oh, well, I mean, we had a lot of anticipation, to be honest. We really thought that the Europa Cup final was one opportunity we had to end the season with a silverware. Unfortunately, it ended up to be quite an underwhelming game, at least from United's point of view. We had 80% possession, 15 shots at goal. They had one shot on target and they scored, right? And I mean, it's like a boxing match. You know, if you don't have the killer punch, you can tickle and tease and pinch. It's just not going to be good enough. We just weren't lethal enough this morning.
By you, Jivan?
Yeah, so I think I would say from the very start, I think the formation of the team was not what I expected, right? And I don't know what was behind the coach's mind or the manager's mind to change the formation or change the players, right? Ugarte was missing. I think Ugarte should have been in the team. He was doing very well throughout the Euro. I think Garnacho should have started. Mount should have came off the bench, and Garnacho should have started from the very start. Because if you realize that when he came in, there were a lot of difference already after which, right? So you can see the game really changed after he came in. What was very sad, it's a fight for the Champions League, qualification for you to qualify to Champions League. And sadly, it went the wrong way for us. But I would like to look at it positively. At the end of the day, I think this whole season, we were not a proper team, right? I think we were in shambles, right? We changed coach midway through the season. We changed the manager midway through the season. Players were injured. We had there were ups, there were downs, right? And I think maybe it's a chance for us to reset back next season because you got no Euro now, right? So you're only going to play over the weekend, and there's no more midweek game for the whole season next year. And I think they should reset back and be refocused back in the new season because you can't turn back time. What is gone is gone. But we hope that this is what will happen next season, where the team will turn around and improve in their performance.
Yeah, you mentioned there that there's no longer any midweek games next season for United because we're not in Europe anymore.
Correct.
So the expectation is definitely to do very well in the league next season. Yeah,
correct. At least to qualify for the Champions League, right? Hoping to win the Premier League, I think, is too soon. But miracles can happen. I remember Chelsea not qualifying for Euro one of the seasons, and that season they won the Premier League. So it can happen, but it's football. Football, anything is possible. Like how this morning the goal went in. It was just deflection, and the ball went in, right? And, I think it was unlucky, but as Yoga said earlier, I think they had one chance and they scored.
Yeah.
We had so many chances and we didn't convert. At the end of the day, that's the most important thing. Who scores the most goals, right? And sadly, that was not what happened for us this morning. So
Going back to the goal you mentioned there, the goal. I saw a lot of comments online where they were very critical of Onana, and Onana has been under a lot of pressure and criticism for his performances. Sometimes he's good, most of the time fans say that he's not very good. So, what do you think about that goal? Was he to blame for the goal? Me.
Well, at first glance, with when you see the ball just bobbing over the line and Onana not being able to reach it, you would think that kind of ball, so slow, just bobbing over, he should be able to get it. But if you look at the entire play, the ball came into the penalty box. The Spurs player back flicked it. So Onana expecting the ball to go back, he was moving to the other side. And suddenly there was a deflection offshore and the ball went in the opposite direction. I think he could not react on time. He's made a lot of mistakes this season, but I do not know whether I would blame him for this particular one.
How about you, Jeevan?
I really don't know what Eric Ten Hag saw in this goalkeeper. Seriously, that's my answer. I really don't know, because to me, he's not a commanding figure in the box, right? When we had De Gea, we had Edwin van der Sar, we had Schmeichel, and there were a lot of other goalkeepers that we had in our team who are commanding in the box, right? They actually instruct the defenders, they push them, they tell them what to do. But this guy, even if you notice corners and all that, I don't see him that confident guy where he can come and pick up the ball or, brush through the players and, be that person as a goalkeeper. So, I won't blame him 100%, but I think he could have reacted much faster. I think his reflex has always been questionable. Yeah, always. I think he's very slow in that sense. They wanted a player who could, keep the ball on the feet and, from defense to attack, so-called. But I think what is the main reason we have a goalkeeper, right? To be the person who is stopping all these goals from going in. And this season, and it's been horrendous as far as I'm concerned. We lost a lot of games because of him. We drew a lot of games because of him. And if the board doesn't look at that for the new season and do not invest on a goalkeeper, then I think there's totally something wrong with the entire Manchester United club, for that matter. That's how I would look at it. Yeah.
So I just want to quickly get you guys what are the few positions that you may think that we need improvement on for the next season.
You want to go ahead? Yeah.
Well, I agree with Jeevan. I think the goalkeeping department is definitely one. I think the club is already looking at some potentials. Martinez's name also being mentioned. I think we need strikers. Our strikers are just not putting in the goals. 41 goals, I think, in the league, which averages to about 1.1 goal per game. It's just not good enough. It's just not good enough. And Bruno Fernandes encapsulated this morning's game perfectly in one sentence. They scored, we didn't. And that is the problem. We just don't score enough goals. Our two strikers, Højlund, Zirkzee, just not doing enough. I think we need new strikers.
Even?
I mean, I totally agree, right? Both these guys need to go. Again, I don't know what Ten Hag saw on these guys, right? I'm trying to picture what did he actually see over some of the players that are not who was in the club and are playing for other teams now and banging in goals left, right, and center. For example, Greenwood, right? So what are these two guys there for, right? They are supposed to be our strikers. They're supposed to be scoring goals. They are not. And if we don't improve that department and the goalkeeper, I think we're going to struggle again next season. Simple as that. Because I think our midfield is good, right? I mean, we got a decent number of players in midfield now. And I think we got a lot of quality defenders already. The team is strong in these two positions, right? But I think we should go and buy two good strikers. And I hope they do that. The Wolves guy seems to be already confirmed. Cunha is already confirmed. Seems to be. Hopefully, he doesn't turn back now that we are not playing Champions League. But according to what I'm seeing here, reading, he's not going to turn back. And the other guy is that Sporting Lisbon. What's his name?
Yogaraj.
Yogaraj. So there's two good strikers who have been banging in goals for their clubs, right? So I think we should go and get them. I mean, I understand the club is going to look at, we are not playing Champions League now. We should trim down our squad, and all that. But I think we should be thinking long term. If I was the Jim Ratcliffe, I think I should be thinking, how am I going to now elevate this club status back again into becoming a challenger to at least the Premier League. And that's the goal for next season.
Yeah, going back to the not playing Champions League part, it has a huge impact on the club finances next season. And I believe I don't remember where I saw it, but Bruno Fernandes was speaking to Portuguese media, and he said that if the club feels like they need to sell me to fund transfers next season, then so be it. Which is the unfortunate state that the club is in. So, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I'm just here. The stories about even before the game, right? The stories about Amorim paying for some of the, team members to come down for the finals,
staff,
right?
The club staff,
the club staff, and all that. That itself is already showing or giving a real bad message. I don't know how much are the players motivated to play for this club, and how many of them are actually playing for the badge. That's the biggest question mark, right? And I heard a podcast today of Rio Ferdinand, right? I think he got it spot on, right? Since Ferguson left, we have got 49 players that have come through this club. He only said 3 people actually really performed. It could be subjective, but his point, I think it's really valid. The 3 players that he spoke about, of course, Ronaldo came in and came out, went back and came in again. So Ronaldo was one of them. And then the other guy was Ibrahimovic, right? And the third player was Bruno. So this was the 3 players that he actually said were the only ones performing. And I think if you look at what he's trying to say, the players that we bought, 49 players, and you have 3 players who has actually played for the badge and performed. That's a big problem at the club already. And what's going on? Who is looking into this? Yeah, and that's the concern of, I think, not supporters in Malaysia alone. I think there is a concern for supporters worldwide. Manchester United has the biggest supporter group, right?
Yeah,
they'll be thinking about this now.
Yeah. It shows also the sad state that the club has gone under since the takeover by the Glazers as well. So, but Ineos came in with Jim Ratcliffe, but it seems like it's not really been working out so far. But maybe it needs more time. So, what do you guys think about that?
Well, I think we have to look at things as they are. It is no longer like the days of what's the Chelsea owner, the Russian guy, Abramovich. It's no longer the time like that where a millionaire owner can come in, pump in millions of dollars, buy whichever player you want, and turn things around. You can't do that anymore. Right now, with the financial fair play rules, the club has to fund player purchases from its revenue, right? And like you rightfully said, losing out on the Champions League spot, losing out in Europe, means that we're not going to get as much revenue as we would otherwise do to fund player purchases. So the only way to do it is to cut costs, to sell players, and that's the only way to balance the books.
We already talked about it for next season, but I just want to touch you outside of maybe qualifying for Europe, outside of the team's achievement on the field. Maybe what do you feel like you want to see as a sign of the club moving forward?
I think if you ask me, the sign of the club moving forward is getting the basic structure of the team correct, right? I think that's the start. If we don't get the basic structure of the team correct, the foundation, I feel we should give Amorim one more full season. That's my personal thought, right? Because I think he's already tried to instill his ideas and he has sticked by it, right? And he's a young coach. And our biggest problem is we have never been patient. We kept changing coaches since Alex Ferguson left, and it was very quick, right? Every time we thought, oh, Jose Mourinho, okay, great. Ole, okay, maybe great. But it's not been working because they've been changing coaches very fast. And I feel that he's not been given enough time. If they give Amorim the right funding to put the structure correct at the start, I don't want to buy 100 players or 15 players like what Chelsea did last season. Right?
Yeah.
They kept buying left, right, and center. You don't need to do that. Just tweak some of the positions that we spoke about earlier. Striker, goalkeeper. Get the right set of people. And the moment we start having a momentum, right? Once the structure is there and the momentum starts to pick and we start winning Premier League games, we should be able to turn around turn around our club next season. And that's what we need to really look at. And who can do that? The board. Right? They're the only one who can do that. If they don't give the money to Amorim and expect Amorim to perform wonders, forget about it. We're not going to do anything. We're not going to do any better next season. I can tell you, if they don't change the goalkeeper, they don't get a good striker, we're not going to do any better than what we did this season.
Yeah, going back to Amorim, I saw a lot of criticism as well that he continues to insist playing his system instead of adapting to the certain situations in matches, or also adapting to the player that we have at the club, because it seems that the fans view that we don't have the players right now to play the system that he wants. So I just want to get your thoughts on that criticism of Amorim. Should he be more flexible, or should he stay with what he knows?
Well, I mean, if you look at the previous managers, from Jose Mourinho and all that, they tried to tweak the system based on the players that they inherited, right? None of the managers that came in said that these are the players they wanted, but these are the players they inherited. So they had to adapt the system. The criticism of fans then was that we didn't have a system of play. We didn't know how we wanted to play. We didn't have a philosophy. Now we have a manager who has a very clear-cut philosophy. I think we got to, and it's worked. It has worked elsewhere. I think we got to give it a try. We got to give him the chance to get the players who are able to implement that philosophy and see if it works. We have seen some signs of it working at United right now. It's just not been consistent, right? But I think, see, with Erik ten Hag, the criticism was we didn't have a style of play, right? Now we are saying that we are criticizing Amorim because he insists on following a style of play, but we don't have the place for it. So something has to give. We have to maybe just allow the manager to imprint his philosophy, just like how Ferguson did, right? You must allow the manager the time and the space to implement the philosophy, to turn things around, and then you judge.
Yeah, unfortunately, for a big club, Manchester United, time is not really a luxury for managers, unfortunately. Also with Ten Hag as well, I think he was here for a season and a half, I think.
Yep.
So in terms of Amorim, he needs to, after this season, next season, he needs to show better utilization of that system that he insists on. So I'm curious, how long do you feel like he can be given?
So we all know that pre-season is one of the most important time for managers and coaches. He has not had a pre-season with Manchester United.
Yeah.
That's, I think, something that we need to give him, right? As I said earlier, give him the right players. I don't think he's going to ask for 7-8 players. I think he's going to sell maybe Garnacho, right? So that he can fund. Because Garnacho is going to fetch a lot of money. Okay? So maybe he's going to sell Garnacho and maybe one other player who's going to be able to fund quite some money. And then we know Eriksen is going to go away, right? So he's not going to be being paid that salary anymore. Johnny Evans is going to go, right? So we got a couple of players that are already going to go off already. Their contracts are ending. We're not renewing their contracts. So now just go and get 2-3 quality players, right? Give him that full season. Give him that pre-season, right? I'll be surprised if he's sacked. I'll be very, very disappointed if he's sacked. I'll be disappointed if we don't even make the trip to Malaysia on Wednesday, right? Because it's got one more game on Sunday, and the way we are going, I'm going to be sure that Aston Villa is fighting for Champions League.
Yeah.
Right, they're going to beat Manchester United on Sunday too, because that's their bread and butter. They're top 5 for them, so they're going to go all out to beat MU. And MU is right now at the most worst times of their season, right? Because they lost the Euro.
One spot above relegation, if I'm not mistaken. Right? Or
Two spots
above relegation.
Two spots. We're not going to get relegated because that's done and dusted already. But the best position that we can end up beating Aston Villa, if we beat Aston Villa, the best position we can end up in the league is 14th, and that's it. But if you ask me, that's nothing.
Yeah,
that's the whole season is gone, right? And if you ask me again, if we won the Euro yesterday, would that have made any difference to this season? I would say still no, because what is the bread and butter? It's the Premier League.
The Premier League.
And the Premier League, you don't perform. At the end of the day, I mean, you're winning Europe, you get to Champions League, you get 100 million because you qualify for the Champions League. All that well and good, right? But the season was bad. So I think he needs a full season. Give him that full season, give him that support, give him the players, and hopefully, we end up doing better next season.
Yeah. I agree with you. I think he needs that full season. My personal opinion is I think he should be given at least a season and a half. If in the season and a half results are good, then unfortunately for big club like Manchester United, that's not good enough.
Of course.
Yeah. So I think we're done talking about the Europa League right now.
Yes.
So we can switch a little bit to the Manchester United game on May 28th. I think the last time Manchester United came to Malaysia was 2009, I believe. So I just want to get your opinion on like what are you hoping for the game coming soon. So of course it's going to generate a lot of buzz. A lot of fans from the region are going to be coming down to the National Stadium in Bukit Jalil. So this is get your thoughts.
Yeah, so at 5:30, 6 o'clock yesterday, there were loads of reactions on social media saying, I think we should be getting a refund to the game, and all that. And I understand that. What I call a knee-jerk reaction at that point of time, because everybody was frustrated. We lost. So was I. All of us were frustrated. I watched the game throughout the game, right? I watched the full game with my family. It was frustrating, yes. But to get Manchester United to Malaysia and go watch them in the National Stadium, I will not give up that for any cost, right? I want to see my players, whatever it is, right? If I consider myself a die-hard Manchester United fan, then for me to go to Bukit Jalil and watch my team play, whether they win or lose, whether it's a draw, it doesn't matter. I'm seeing my players up close, the closest that I can get to the team, right? So not everybody is lucky. I think I told this again the last time. Not everybody is lucky to go to Old Trafford. Not everybody has the fun to go to Old Trafford. So you get a chance to pay. The cheapest ticket was 50 ringgit or something like that, or 100 ringgit. Yeah, people get a chance to pay 100 ringgit and watch their team. And I think we should appreciate that Manchester United is coming down. Whether they're going to come down with the first team, everything is still in the secret, right? But for me,
apparently Amorim said the first team is coming.
Okay, so for me is the most important thing is for me to see my team. That's what I'm looking forward to.
So you're not asking for a refund?
No, definitely not. Definitely not. And I know I paid on the higher side of the ticket. But for me, it's not about that. For me, it's I want to watch my team.
So, Yoga, what excites you the most about United playing in National Stadium?
I think the ability, like what Jeevan said, the ability to watch your team play, ability to watch Manchester United play in the flesh, in front of you, is an experience to behold, right? Of course, this morning we were all hoping that the team would come to Malaysia with the Europa trophy and to display it to the fans in the stadium. Well, that is not to be, right? But like what Jeevan said, let's not the Europa League distract people.
Our support.
Yeah, our season was bad. Full stop, right? Whether we won the Europa League or not, our season is bad. But that doesn't take away how special it is to watch your team play in front of your eyes.
I believe previously you both have said that you were at the 2009 game, right?
Yes.
So what do you remember about that game?
We were lucky at that year because we were supposed to play one game only against Malaysia. And then there were some issues in Indonesia, Jakarta and the team could not fly in. So we had 2 games. And I managed to watch both the games because the next game was like sort of half a price or something like that. So we got a second game. And, it was fantastic. It was like, whoa, right? I mean, as I said, there are not many people who can go to Old Trafford, right? There are not many people who can travel to England. I've gone and seen games in Old Trafford. Leave me aside. But there are people who cannot go to Old Trafford. And I think this is their chance to be there, to watch their team, watch their favourite player and enjoy that moment, right?
I agree with that. I mean, I've also been fortunate enough to be in Old Trafford together with the supporters club. But even watching United in Malaysia, being in the stadium, seeing the players walk out of the tunnel in their red kit, it's a hair-raising experience. Right, it's really an experience to behold. If you're a United supporter, it is something very special to see your players play in the flesh.
There's with European clubs coming to this part of the world, there's always a criticism that it's just a money grab, that they don't really give anything back to the fans. But I believe that because with clubs like Manchester United and Liverpool and other Premier League clubs who have such a big following here, it's a positive. The positive outweighs the negative. So how do you see that?
No, I agree with that. I mean, it can be anybody can be making money in all these things, right? It's same thing having a huge concert in Malaysia with one of the top singers coming down, right? Somebody's making money from that too, right? It's the same thing. So why are we just talking about, Manchester United, they're trying to make money, they're coming here. Everybody is in the same boat. You bring a singer from somewhere, they are also making money, right? You have a huge concert, they are also making money. As fans, if you like a singer, you want to go and watch that person up close and personal, right? So it's the same thing for a football game. I want to watch my team. I definitely want to go and be as close as possible to them. I might be lucky to maybe get one of the jerseys, I don't know, right? So it's just, let's go and watch the game. Whatever happens, this is our club, this is our team. We are the supporters. We have to feel it in our hearts and, feel that, hey, Manchester United is coming to town. Let's go and watch them.
Okay. Amazing. Like I mentioned earlier at the start of our podcast, that both Yoga and Jeevan is part of the Kuala Lumpur Mancunian Red Devil Supporters Club. And on July 12th, KL MRD are going to have a gala dinner at the Sunway Resort Hotel. So maybe you guys would like to speak on that a little bit.
Yes. So the KL MRD is part of the United Malaysia Supporters Club, which comprises of KL MRD, Sabah Red Devils and
Sarawak
United Malaysia Sarawak.
Yes.
Right. So every year we rotate where the dinner is held. This year is KL's turn. We are excited about it. We are looking forward to it. We invite all like-minded
football supporters,
United supporters,
right? And football supporters.
Come join us at the gala dinner. Whatever the season is, it is never a bad time to just come together, share your passion as a United supporter, share your passion with the rest of us, come and enjoy and celebrate supporting the team.
Yeah, I believe it's also for charity,
the
Down Syndrome Association of Malaysia.
Correct. So one of the biggest things about this dinner is also supporting the charity part, right? So as an organization, we are responsible to give back. And I think that's what we are doing. So from proceeds from the dinner, certain portions will be given to this charity home, and that's what we have decided. All we are looking for is people to come and join us for this dinner. There will be a lot of exciting activities, a lot of exciting lucky draws that will be given during this dinner. There are also, tickets to Old Trafford to go and watch a game. So exciting. All this is going to be a part of a lucky draw on that day. So why I said it's open to every supporter, because it's an event that we look at it. Yeah, it's a KL MRD event, it's a Manchester United club event. Yes, it is, but we want to see every single supporter. I've got friends who have already bought tickets who are Liverpool supporters and Spurs supporters and all that. It's the fun, right? At the end of the day, yesterday at 5 o'clock, this morning at 5 o'clock, I sent congratulations message to all my Spurs fans, right? My friends.
Yeah.
Because that's part and parcel of football, right? You enjoy that moment. right? You have the banter of each other with no any other feelings.
So if people want to get further information, where can they get the information?
So everything is on Ticket to You. We have a ticket2you.com. You can go there and you can collect the ticket. Purchase the ticket. Sorry, you can purchase the ticket from there.
Okay, so ticket2you.com.my.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. I think that's unfortunately all the time that we have today. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for joining me. Thank you Thanks for listening to Time Sports on the Beat. I'm your host Faizal Salim, and our guest today is Jeevanesan and T, Yogaraj from the KLMRD Supporters Club, Manchester United Supporters Club. We hope you enjoyed our session. You can listen to the podcast on Audio Plus, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. Thanks again, and I hope you'll join us again next time. Thank you.
Thank you.